Guys, my name is Broken. Today I've got another video for you about Ember Spirit. This time it's going to be about dodging projectiles with our Sleight of Fist and our Fire Remnant. Now the reason I'm making this video is because I felt that a lot of newer Ember players especially were a little bit confused about whether these spells disjoint or not and how to go about dodging projectiles with them. So I'm going to help clear that up for you guys today. First of all, no, they do not disjoint. Neither of them do, which I can demonstrate with this friendly Sven here. As you can see, the projectile still followed me, it still hit me. Let's do that again. You can see it will still stun me. And a similar thing happens with Sleight of Fist. Even though I tried to dodge it there, it still stuns me and does all the damage. So how should I go about dodging with my Sleight of Fist and with my Fire Remnant? Now the first thing to know is that when we are using Sleight of Fist, like so, or when we are using Fire Remnant, like so, during that time, when the spell is active, we are actually invulnerable, although we are still physically there, much like Juggernaut during his Omni Slash. Now because of this, we can get the projectile to hit us while we are in this invulnerable state, thus making it do no damage and have no effect. Whether that effect is a stun, damage over time, a slow, it will do absolutely zilch. Now you may be thinking, okay, well how do we get the projectiles to hit us while we are in an invulnerable state? And it's different for each spell, so let me explain them one at a time. First, I'm going to start off with Fire Remnant because it's much simpler and it's much easier to explain. So first of all, as I demonstrated before, when we try and Remnant away, the projectile still follows us and it still hits us. So obviously this isn't going to work, but why does this happen? Now the reason this happens is because there is no projectile in Dota 2, to the best of my knowledge, that travels faster than Ember Spirit travels to his Fire Remnant. This means that Ember travels away from the projectile faster than the projectile travels towards him, so it's never going to be able to catch up with him and hit him while he's in his invulnerable state. But there's an easy way to avoid this. Instead of remnanting away, all we gotta do is remnant towards the projectile, because this means that me and the projectile will collide mid-air while I'm invulnerable, like so. I demonstrated this in one of my Huskar videos a while ago. You can go see that if you want. It's basically the same concept. So that one's pretty easy. And now I want to move on to dodging with Sleight of Fist, and this one's a little bit more complicated, and I think it's much trickier to perfect. And there are a few different scenarios and how you should utilize those. Now first of all, I want to demonstrate this using Queen of Pain because I think it's pretty relevant to the mid lane. You might have this matchup often, and you really want to dodge the dagger with your Sleight of Fist. Now as you can see, when I'm trying to dodge this, even though I used my Sleight of Fist before it hit me, I still got hit by the dagger, because the dagger turned around and then it turned back. Now why does this happen? This basically happens because when we Sleight of Fist with Ember Spirit, we actually travel to each unit that we have marked to be hit with Sleight of Fist, and we hit them. And the projectile tries to follow us around when we do this. The only problem is there is no travel time between these jumps between targets, so we travel there instantly, which is obviously far too fast for the projectile to actually be able to catch up with us and hit us while we are invulnerable. So instead, it kind of just does this awkward kind of U-turn in midair until we have stopped jumping around, and then it hits us once we have slowed down. Like so. I'll do it again. You can see that's what happens right there. It turns back to try and hit us when we're here, and then we are suddenly here again, and it turns to hit us when we were here. And so we don't dodge it. So how are we actually going to get this dagger to hit us while we are in the invulnerable state? And it's actually pretty simple. All we need to do is use Sleight of Fist really, really soon after the projectile is fired. Basically, we want the projectile to be just around here, really close to the target that fired the projectile as we Sleight of Fist. Because that means the projectile is right here when we are also right here. And this means that the projectile doesn't need to travel any distance and has that time, 0.2 seconds of time to be precise, to travel to us and hit us. And so once we're right beside it, this is very easy for it to do. So I'll demonstrate that right now. As you can see, the dagger hits me. Oops, I messed it up there. The dagger hits me when I'm right beside Queen of Pain. And thus it doesn't need to try and do this awkward U-turn in midair to try and hit me. This also works with other projectiles such as Stun from the Sven or the Svenge, but obviously they have a much quicker cast time, so it's a lot harder to do it on heroes with a quick cast time. But with someone like Quap, she's got a really long and clear to see cast point, so you can do it pretty easily and pretty consistently. Now there is one other way to ensure the projectile hits you while you're invulnerable, and that is to Sleight of Fist a group of enemies, which can be creeps, which can be heroes, can be anything that you can Sleight of Fist when they are all grouped together. And if you hadn't already figured it out, the reason that this works is because basically all these targets are really close to each other. So we spend all the time during Sleight of Fist in this little area right here. We're not like jumping around all over the place very much. So this gives the projectile time to, you know, do its turn and move to us and catch up with us when we're in this little area and it can hit us, rather than having to jump around all over the place and try and hit us. So that was it for this video, guys. I hope it helped you. I hope it improves your gameplay. I would recommend going into a practice lobby like I have done here to make sure that you've got it down with both your Sleight of Fist and your Fire Run, to make sure you can do it consistently, and then use it in your games as Ember Spirit afterwards. So once again, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did so, please leave a like down below. And if you have any feedback for me or any requests for future videos, you can leave them down in the comments and I'll be sure to read them and sure to give you a reply. So once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.